Hello, welcome back to Hem and Her. We are actually doing a special collaboration today with a real estate service called Craft Your Closing, and they started this project called Beer and Bolt, where they drop off a 4-pack of craft beer to frontline workers. And this week, they will also be receiving a meal kit to make AGLIO e OLIO, which I will be instructing how to make in this video. It would be great if you could give them a follow and me a follow, both on Instagram in the description below. So this is a pretty simple recipe. All you're gonna need is some dry spaghetti, some parsley, about a teaspoon of chili flake, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a lemon wedge, about 3 tablespoons of salt, give or take, and a garlic bulb. So now I'm going to show you how to easily peel garlic. If you're wondering why I don't smash the garlic in this recipe, it is because I like the mouthfeel of the slivers of garlic versus the crushed garlic, and also the crushed garlic has a higher tendency to burn. So I threw the garlic cloves that were separated and put them in 2 large bowls together and then shook them up. And you can see they're slightly easier to peel as the skins have been separated from the clove itself. I'm using about 4 medium-sized cloves in this recipe, but feel free to use more or less depending on your affinity for garlic. It is in the name of the recipe, so you pretty much want the garlic flavor to dominate the dish, which is the AGLIO part of the name. Right now I'm trying to slice the cloves as thin as possible. If you have a mandolin slicer and are brave enough to use it, go for it. This yielded about 3 to 4 tablespoons of garlic, I believe, which sounds like a lot, but it mellows out after it's cooked in the oil. Now you're going to want to pick the leaves off of a small handful of parsley. This may look like a decent amount of parsley, but it ends up being about 3 tablespoons chopped up. You are going to want to take these leaves of parsley and get them into a fine mince. A great technique to mince herbs like parsley is to have your dominant hand on the knife's handle and to have the opposite hand on the back of the knife. In a rocking motion, you will take the knife and run them through the herbs until you get your desired size. Before you start chopping your ingredients, you want to have a pot of water boiling on the stove, and once it starts boiling, add the salt to it. You want to give your water a taste, and it should have some salinity to it, but not as salty as seawater. You can then toss your spaghetti into the water. I'm using about 1/3 to 1/4 box of spaghetti for 2 servings, and then give that a little bit of a stir. With your pan on medium heat, add the olive oil. You don't want your pan too hot here, just because you don't want the garlic to burn, and if it does burn, you have to start all over again. You can now throw in your garlic. You're going to want to cook this garlic to a light golden brown, but you don't want to get it too dark. Otherwise, it'll taste very bitter. Feel free to add a little bit more olive oil here. I did because my pan seemed a little bit drier than I'd like, but adjust as you go. I am now going to add the chili flake to get a little bit of a toast on it and release some of those oils. Make sure to keep the pan moving so none of the ingredients burn, and lower the heat if you see the garlic is taking on too much color too quickly. The goal is to get the garlic to this golden brown color you see here. And once you do that, you can set the pan aside until your pasta is done. Once your pasta is about al dente or to the bite, you can throw it in the pan with the garlic, the chili flake, and the olive oil. You definitely do not want to overcook your pasta here because it's going to continue cooking in the pan. So if it's slightly firmer than you like, it's fine. Do not drain your pasta water just yet, as you'll be using some of it in the sauce. Also, if you're accustomed to adding oil to your pasta water, do not do that anymore. It prevents sauces from sticking to the pasta itself. I added a ladle of the pasta water just to loosen it up a bit. Don't worry if you added too much pasta water, as it'll evaporate out of the pan eventually. Once most of the pasta water has reduced, add a little bit of your parsley, but save some of it for garnish. You can now turn off your burner as the residual heat in the pan will be enough to finish the pasta. Give it a stir to incorporate the parsley into the pasta. I like to add a little bit of lemon to brighten up the dish even though it's not traditional. A trick to prevent seeds from falling into your food is to juice the lemon into your hand and let the juice run through the gaps of your fingers. Here I would taste it and add salt as you need. I added a little bit more pasta water because it tightened up as I added the rest of the ingredients. So now the pasta is pretty much done. A trick to prevent a mess while plating your pasta is to twirl the pasta on a pair of tongs before moving it to the plate. You can add Parmesan cheese on top if you'd like, but the dish as is vegan and vegetarian and can be made gluten-free if you got your own gluten-free spaghetti. To garnish, I took some of the reserved parsley and a little bit more chili flake. And there you have it, aglio e olio, a super simple and delicious dish. Thanks again for watching. If you'd like your own personal virtual cooking lesson with colleagues or friends, feel free to email hello@hemandherfood.com. Don't forget to follow Hem and Her Food on Instagram, and also please follow Craft Your Closing. And last but not least, thank you so much to all the frontline workers out there. Stay safe.